Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we have something very interesting to talk about. The LAOWA 100mm f2.8 2x macro lens. My review about this lens will be quite different from the others because I'm not really going to talk about the specifications of this lens, like optical design, angle of view, or so on, because you can find that by searching on the Google. Instead, I will share my personal experience using the LAOWA 100mm macro. Okay, so before I purchased this lens, I also considered buying the Canon 100mm L, but because it is a quite old lens, and the LAOWA also won the TIPA World Awards for Best Macro Lens, beating other competitors, I made up my mind to purchase this lens. So let's get started. Before we jump right to the review of the lens itself, let's talk about my first impression when I received the package. If you ever purchased the LAOWA 60mm macro lens, you will notice that there is a huge difference between the LAOWA 60mm and 100mm box. The box of the LAOWA 60mm macro looks pretty common and there is nothing special with the box. But with just $50 more, the box of the LAOWA 100mm is more well packaged, and therefore it is also safer for the lens. I also appreciate that LAOWA gives some premium touch on it so it becomes more special. Talking about the build quality, once again, I have to compliment LAOWA for the quality of their lens. Why? Because LAOWA is a company that provides a cheaper option for you to buy a lens, but they also maintain their quality, which is not what you can find on the other third-party lens. 2 years ago, when I purchased the 60mm macro, I also surprised by the build quality. And still, after I used it for 2 years, there's nothing I can complain, especially the build quality because it is full metal. They succeeded in maintaining the build quality, and I personally think there are some improvements. First, I think the outer part of this macro lens is more polished, and second, the focusing ring is also getting smoother. It is quite heavy though, but still for a macro lens with 100mm focal length, I think it's pretty decent. But there is one weakness that I have found on this lens, which is the front element. The front element is still going front and back, so it allows dust or other things to get inside the lens. That's why I suggest you to keep your UV filter attached, so dust won't come into the lens. And fortunately, they include UV filter and hood, so you don't have to purchase separately. If you're a Canon DSLR user, you are very lucky because the Canon EF mount version does include automatic aperture. It will be a huge help when you are shooting in a more close aperture. And how about my experience taking photos with this lens? I personally like this focal length better than 60mm because of the longer working distance. It works better with my current diffuser, but it really depends on your lighting setup. If you shoot macro without an external flash, 100mm will be better because you can approach your subject from farther away. And that way you can avoid covering your object with the shadow from your camera or lens. To test how good the image produced by this lens, I bring my camera to the field and took some pictures, both with my external flash and diffuser, and also without any lighting setup, so let's take a look. First, we have a photo of a beautiful flower with green background. As you can see, I have put the detail on the left bottom corner. I took this photo at f8 and it is very sharp with a quite smooth background. And I didn't use an external flash to take this photo. Then, we got another photo taken without an external flash. I did find it is very hard to get a sharp looking image without an external flash, especially when it is windy outside. So if you really depend on sunlight when taking macro photos, you should take this into consideration. I suggest you use an external flash, but if you have an own one, you should set a higher shutter speed to avoid getting a shaky image. Next, I have one of my favorite photos taken with this lens. This is a stock image and I believe it is taken around 1:1 magnification. It is very obvious that I use an external flash and diffuser, which you can definitely see the reflection on the spider's eyes. Well, this is a crazy sharp image. This photo proves how good the image quality produced by the LAOWA 100mm macro 2x. Now, we have arrived at the most important part of this video. Is the LAOWA 100mm f2.8 worth buying? For me, yes. If you like macro photography, but you also want to use it for other purposes, this lens is definitely what you are looking for. It got a very nice build quality. It also allows you to approach the object farther away. Then, they also include other accessories like UV filter and hood that will help you when it is very bright in the outside. And last, with the capability to take photos greater than life size, you will be able to take a closer look to small specimens like the jumping spider. So that's my review for this macro lens. Overall, I really enjoy using this lens. I got nothing to complain except for the front element, which I have mentioned before. If you are interested in buying this lens, you can purchase it from the LAOWA official website, which I will put the link on the description below. I just want to let you know that I'm not sponsored, so this is my honest review for this lens. For those of you who have watched this video until now, thank you very much, I really appreciate it. If you haven't visited my Instagram, make sure you check it out. My Instagram ID is ricoreas for macro photos and discoveryco for travel and street photos. If you like this video, give a thumbs up and also subscribe. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video.